Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Clair Romero Show. This is episode 8, and we are going to be talking about an underrated horror flick called Waxwork. And this is going to be interesting. This is going to be fun because we both enjoyed Waxwork.
Yeah,
But before we do talk about it, I want to show a trailer for Waxwork so you get an idea of what we're talking about. So let's go ahead and share.
give me just a second here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So this is, you guys, this is the trailer for Waxwork.
That guy's the best, dude. That guy's the fucking
Yeah.
best. Waxwork.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to talk about that movie.
Yeah, so before we talk about it, any news that you want to bring up?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and just like have like a casual like what you've been watching, what you've been playing, sort of stuff like that. Just like brief little like I guess you could say thoughts on whatever you've been like watching and shit. Um, I watched season 4 of Westworld. You ever see Westworld,
I haven't. I haven't.
dude? That show is a cautionary fucking tale for every writer out there, just like flat out, right? Because so the first season comes out and it's fucking brilliant. Like everybody loves it. To this day, everybody agrees it's the best season of the whole show. Um, and
And
yeah,
that's
it's
hard,
absolutely
right?
it's what?
It's hard, right, for a first season to be as good
Yeah,
as like the other seasons.
yeah, definitely. I mean, they came out. The first season is fucking Kino, dude. It's fucking classic, right? The problem is though that the Reddit hive mind, the internet hive mind, all the podcasts, they kind of figured out all the twists like way before it happened. Like they even figured out like the big twist at the end of the season, like in episode 3. You know, um, and so I just feel like I should mention this. The one of the two showrunners is Jonathan Nolan, Chris Nolan's brother, and you know, I've always had this theory that like Nolan and probably his brother too, they just really want to make the audience super confused, like for no fucking reason, just make things confusing for them, right? And I think the best evidence of that is that fucking Jonathan Nolan got pissed, dude. He got pissed that everybody figured out the twist of the first season, right? So for the second season, instead of focusing on writing a good sequel, a good follow up, and just making sure you make a good season of television, he wanted to do that, but he also wanted to make the show impossible to fucking predict, right? Like
Hmm.
impossible for people to like call the twist and shit like that. The problem is that when he did that, he made a show that was so pointlessly convoluted and like non-linear for no fucking reason that nobody knew what the fuck was going on throughout most of it. And to this day, most people don't really know what happened in season two because like it's so fucking just bizarre jumble. Like they were so obsessed with making sure they controlled all the twists and shit. It was so stupid, right?
Yeah.
So season one, you got a brilliant show. Season two, you got a show that you fuck up because you tried to be more clever. On the third season, it's like they were like, okay, fuck it. You don't like smart? We're just gonna be dumb. We're just gonna be dumb fun, And like season three is like their biggest. It's like their Michael Bay season, dude. Like, yes, it has like those like mysteries and stuff like that, but it's really more about the spectacle to the point where like the final battle, like everybody agrees the final battle of season three is just like stupid, like in concept and the way they shot it. So after doing all this work, they finally come back to season four, and they actually make a halfway decent season of television. Finally, they found the right mix of intelligence, of twists, and of spectacle. They finally found the right balance for it, right?
Right.
Up until the final episode, dude. The final episode just like makes everything so simplistic and so like okay. So all right, I just want to say this really quick. I don't want to spend too long on this one thing, but the problem with this show is that nobody dies. Like nobody really dies in this show because everybody's like brain and their personality could be copied, and every machine has like a little thumb drive you can just put into another machine, and you can make them look like the older version and shit, right? So the
Right.
problem with season four is that we've had three seasons where like nothing really matters, right? And it just keeps compounding because death doesn't mean anything. And everybody can come back, like no matter how horrible their death is, no matter how good their death is for their character, like everybody just comes back from the dead because whatever. And what happened is that like it's a fascinating thing because it's probably not going to get another season because of the changeover in HBO with the executives and stuff like that. It's probably the final season they ever had, and they finally had a good season again, but they fuck it up in the final episode because they just couldn't help themselves, dude. They had to have like their twists and shit. They focused so much on the twists, and they didn't focus so much on setting them up well or making them mean anything, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I can say that I've seen the entirety of Westworld, and it is probably one of the most frustrating shows that have ever been released. And if you're a writer or a filmmaker, it is a fascinating cautionary tale in in the cost of trying to outsmart your audience ultimately.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Like, if you're gonna be making like a show or even a movie, like tell a cool, great story. You can invest in, especially a show. Like, you're getting invested in these characters. You're telling an interesting narrative that and also invest your audience in. And yeah, you can have a twist. That's cool. Hopefully you get something that nobody sees coming. But like, that shouldn't be the main objective of like
Right.
your show. Your objective is to like create um good characters, good story, investment, so people keep watching, and that's
Yeah.
the whole point. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So what about you, Dom? Anything you've been watching or playing you want to bring up?
Yeah, I've been watching a friend of mine, Dustin Ferguson films.
Mm-hmm.
He I love this guy. I met him 3 times. We talked a lot, and he's a cool guy.
Uh-huh.
He's also just like a very like he's a cool filmmaker. Like, he does a lot of B horror films.
Uh-huh.
So he's done like a film called Apex Predators, which is like Jaws, the first one.
Uh-huh.
And it was like bad, but like in a good way. It's like so bad it's good.
Yeah.
And then the sequel was just better. You know, it was a better film because in the first one it was a little dragging, and it was only one shark. But in the second one, it's called Apex Predators 2: The Spawning.
Uh-huh.
So if you look at the title Apex Predator 2 The Spawning, it's reminiscent to Piranha 2 The Spawning.
Yeah.
So the whole film is an inspiration from James
James
Cameron's film.
Cameron. Yeah. That's
So
legit. That sounds cool. Yeah.
yeah, so he like has these flying sharks like come out of the water and attack people, and then there's this mega shark that comes out of the water and starts attacking people. It's a fun, like he's such a fun filmmaker. Like he
Uh-huh.
makes fun like B horror films. You should check him out on IMDb. Like he has a list of films you can see if you want to watch. It's on Tubi, Amazon Prime. They're in Walmart if you want to buy a copy. But yeah, man, I've been watching a lot of his films and they're fun. He made a film called Amityville in the Hood. So it's like it's a reference to films like Leprechaun in the Hood,
Yeah.
Leprechaun Back to the Hood. So like he's definitely like a fan of like those movies, and
Mhm.
he just reenacts, but like he takes those like the goodness of the movies, the horror elements, and like puts it in his films, and it's just so fun.
Yeah.
So I've been watching a lot of his films and I've been enjoying them a lot. So if you guys don't know him, just check him out. Search up Dustin Ferguson on IMDb, and he has a list of films you guys can watch at, like I said, on Tubi, Amazon Prime, Vudu. They're on Netflix as well, Hulu. So check them out if you have those streaming platforms. And yeah, he's a cool guy and a cool familiar. So yeah, that's all I want to mention.
Nice.
So yeah,
Yeah. No, I figure we just like run through a few of them and shit for a while.
yeah, yeah.
I also watched the first season.
Uh-oh. Can you guys Can you guys see him? Sorry, you're breaking up, man.
There it is. Okay, that was weird. Can you see me?
I see.
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
you're starting to move. I can hear you, but you're starting to move a
Okay.
little bit. A little bit.
Okay. Well, but you can hear me.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and keep talking there. Yeah. Have you ever heard of Nathan Fielder or ever seen any of his stuff?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, he's a Canadian sort of comedy guy and stuff like that. But like he's very famous for like his first show was called Nathan for You. And the basic idea was that he would go to small business owners, with like problems and like give them a ridiculous, crazy, stupid fucking solution, you know? And it's like reality, like comedy reality TV and stuff like that, and the first couple seasons, like it's just like laughs. It's just like pure laughs. Like you're just like watching these poor business owners kind of get pranked, but go through with it and shit like that. But towards the end of the second season, um, the show starts to take a turn where it gets really metaphysical, really philosophical, and and on the next I think there's four seasons altogether, and every season after that, so the seasons 3 and 4, they kind of, I mean, it's still a funny show, like these are still comedy bits, but they just find ways, like he finds ways to like really get at like some emotional truth, and he manages to create some like just powerful, like really impact, like you don't expect it from a comedy, but like serious gut punches that just come out of nowhere, that are just like super haunting and really emotional, and it's crazy. And so that was his first show, but his new show, it's kind of a build up, is building off of that, it's building off of what he did with Nathan for You, because what ended up happening was the lines between what was real and what was fake got so blurry by the end that the final episode of the show is a 90-minute documentary that's all real. you know so like he likes to like make you question when you watch his shit, because it is a mixture of like comedy and reality television. Like you don't know what's real, you don't know, like, is this acted, did he actually do this to someone, like is their reaction like it's so crazy. And so the premise of the rehearsal, right, his show, is that he uses his ability, to work in Hollywood to like recreate sets and shit like that, to recreate a moment in someone's life that they don't want to go through. Like in the first episode, it's this guy who's part of this trivia night. He's like a championship trivia night guy, you know?
Hmm.
But he and everybody in his team went to grad school. They have PhDs, doctorates and stuff like that, right? And he to, and he never said that he went to grad school, but everybody assumes he went to grad school, and he's really embarrassed about it, right? So so the first episode is like Nathan is gonna help him like get over this fear of having this conversation by recreating by recreating his life in a soundstage. They recreate his friends. They recreate the bar down to like the most minute details, dude. It's crazy. Part of the fun of this show is seeing how far Nathan goes to get every detail right. But he creates like this whole scenario for him to practice having that conversation, and he does it like kind of directing the scene, like, but it's real life. It's not like the guy is real, the show isn't, but the guy he's doing it about, like everything about him is real.
Hmm.
So despite, to kind of show an example, it's a reality show, but he's literally directing everybody in them. And he goes through the scene like, okay, the best case scenario, the worst case scenario, the most likely scenario. What if this happens? What is it, like, all the different ways it can go wrong or go right to prepare the guy. So that's the basic premise of the show. But like, dude, like, it's so wild, man. Like what Nathan Fielder is able to do with all this shit that he pulls, dude. Like, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny. It's really funny. I don't want to undersell that. This is a funny ass show. But like by the final episode, dude, like the final episode honestly had me like emotionally like at some point me and Lindsay were like watching it. We were like, I feel really bad watching this. This is fucked up. What's going on here? But like he manages to take that and yeah, dude, I really don't know. I don't even know how to talk about it to people who have seen it. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
hard to talk about it to people who haven't seen it. But like, it's oh god, it's on HBO. It's on HBO. It's called The Rehearsal. And if you like The Rehearsal, definitely check out Nathan for You, and definitely check out How To with John Wilson. That's Nathan Fielder's like executive produced show. But yeah, Nathan Fielder like is a fucking incredible artist, dude. Like what he's doing with television and comedy is just like next level shit, dude. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about The Rehearsal.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, that's about it. I want to get into the review. Screen Rad, welcome.
Hey, what's up, Screenet?
Thank you for stopping by. We're gonna get into Waxwork. So,
Yes.
uh, I love this fucking movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
I literally love this movie. So, like, I saw both. I saw this movie and I saw the sequel, and I love both of them.
Okay.
I so about this. So, what did you expect when you were watching this film? Obviously, you haven't seen the trailer before,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you know, so did you know anything going in? You just all you knew was just like it's about
No idea.
waxwork.
Yeah, I figured it
Yeah,
was about a wax museum because it was called Waxwork, but
yeah,
I had no real expectations going in.
yeah. So when you start off, this guy he's getting killed in the beginning. He
Uh-huh.
burns, and then you get introduced to all the characters that you're gonna go along with.
Mhm.
And I like the characters.
Yeah.
They're actually like there's one guy who smokes and drinks,
Uh-huh.
like the guy who quit drinking. He's funny as hell.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the funny people in the movie, and I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, definitely.
And so what it's about these college students that end up finding out there's a waxwork in town, and they two of the college students gets introduced to the guy from The Omen in Scream 2. Very well known actor. He's a British actor. He passed away unfortunately.
Mhm.
So they talk to him. He shows out of nowhere. He's like, "You want to come see my waxwork?"
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." And so they at first they were suspicious, but of course, like they go along with it. They bring their other
Mhm.
friends to the waxwork, and we get introduced to the midget, the small what they
Yeah,
call it, the butler or
yeah, the
something.
butler. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That guy, that performance is fucking great. Yeah,
yeah,
dude. Like, I just want to interject a little bit here. I wasn't expecting much going into it. But
that's
right
a
off
good
the
thing.
bat, yeah, right off the bat, dude, like I was really taken by how much like you can tell John Hillcox, right? The name of the director, John
Yeah,
Hillcox.
yeah, John
Dude,
Hillcox.
that guy really gave a shit. That guy
Yeah.
really gave a shit about this movie. I don't know if he wrote it or if he just got hired to direct it or whatever. But like, dude, like what I really enjoyed about this movie is by the way, was this a straight to video movie? Was this shot on video?
Um, I am not too sure. It
On
looks like it though, right?
Yeah, it looks like it was
Uh,
shot on video.
yeah, yeah, but like, um, doesn't matter because
No, no,
the
no.
movie, yeah,
Yeah,
because the
what I
movie
was getting
itself
at
is awesome.
yeah, what I was getting at is
Yeah,
that, it's really awesome because, you forget we're removed from like the 80s, the 90s when you had like the shitio. If it's on video, if it's straight to video, like it's trash, it's lower cinema. But like what I really enjoyed about this movie is that like this movie makes no excuses for itself whatsoever. I'm guessing it was a straight to video movie, or at least not a very big movie, but like I really feel like they fucking went hard on this movie, dude. Like especially the director, like John. Well, not just the director, dude. Like the actors are fucking great.
yeah,
Like they're also they're so stylized. Like I like the heightened reality of this whole little world they have going on. Um, this is a movie that aims to do one thing and it does it very well, and that's to be entertaining. And it is undeniably entertaining to watch from beginning to end. Yeah, I really really enjoy this movie a lot, man.
yeah. Me too, man. It has it has a mix of comedy and of course horror, but it leans more on comedy, but then it goes to horror, and it's a
Yeah.
good mix. Um, what? Okay, so you obviously didn't know, like going in. Of course, you got to meet the characters, right?
Mhm.
You go to the waxwork. You see the butler. You see the head guy. They're walking around the museum. So, what was going through your head when you're watching? And you're like, is there going to be a slasher? Is there going to be a killer that's going to start killing them in the waxwork, and then they're gonna make them into wax and stuff like that?
Yeah, I
Were you
wasn't
thinking?
expecting that. Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah,
expecting the whole they go into they step the rope and enter the scene. I didn't expect that at all.
yeah,
So when the movie just randomly cuts to a werewolf scene, yeah, dude, honestly, but like I mean, the fun of it was realizing, wait, why did it cut to a oh, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So
Especially like you go into the werewolf scene with the funny guy,
yeah.
and he's in. By the way, great special effects, fucking
Oh yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Mhm.
They so he goes in, he finds this guy, he's a werewolf, and he turns into one. He gets bit. Then the werewolf hunters come in with silver bullets. One guy gets ripped in half. And then the guy shoots the funny guy that's about to turn into one, and that was a pretty
Yeah.
good effect. And then he gets shot, and you see all the movements happening, right?
Mhm.
And then there's a shot where you see him uh dying, and then he dies, and he's staying still because he's dead.
Yeah.
But then it pans over and you see the werewolf standing still, and then it pans over to the character walking by the
Yeah.
wax, and I was like, whoa, that's
Yeah.
fucking cool. That was a
Yeah,
cool like introduction
to the concept,
to the
yeah.
concept of it, and the way they shot it was fucking awesome,
Yeah,
and
dude. No,
and
honestly.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then of course we went, and after that the girlfriend goes into this other wax scene
Mhm.
where that one was a werewolf scene. This one's a vampire scene. So I kind of looked at it like more as like a anthology comedy, like the way I
Yeah,
seen it. That's what
honestly,
it
yeah.
felt like. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
up until like I literally thought it was an anthology movie. Like so you took
Mhm.
the words right out my mouth. I thought like when we got to the second story, I was like, wait, are they all gonna break off into their own little like short films? Because I would actually be way down with that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but it's not that, but I would have been down with it, dude. Because honestly, like I enjoyed the change of genre, you know,
Yeah.
like it was fun. It was a fun
Yeah.
way to start that off.
Yeah, so we get into the vampire scene, and of course she's dressed up like in I think it's the Middle Ages or
Well,
something, and
one thing I liked her character a lot,
Victorian.
man. I liked her
Yeah,
character a lot because she looks like Marilyn Monroe. Have you know? Do you notice that she had like
yeah,
the
yeah,
blonde hair, the mole and shit,
yeah,
and she just kind of had that sort of like sexy fucking vibe to her and shit, you know. So yeah, dude. Honestly, I was. I mean, you know, she's the character who sleeps around. This is technically a slasher movie, so I figured she was gonna die as
yeah.
soon as as soon as
It's a
she
u
entered
it
that
by the way,
scene.
a unique slasher.
Yeah, yeah, but it kind of follows those rules. I mean, the first guy who dies is the guy who does all the drugs and drinks, you know?
Yeah. And he's like the comedic relief,
Yeah.
he dies. And then of course like she encounters vampires and then you see scenes where like she encounters her husband, her character's husband, and then
Mhm.
her husband has his leg half like, you know, you know,
That was
there's
great.
no
Yeah.
flesh, there's no flesh, there's just bone. And like he's always screaming like ah every time like they pick at his like his bone and his flesh and shit.
Yeah.
So, and then so the vampires come in, she kills the vampires. There was a cool shot where like she takes the knives, she puts them as a cross, puts it against his head explodes. She
Yeah.
stabs the girls in the chest with the wooden spears, or whatever. She kicked a chair. Um and then one girl flies into a winery bottles, and the bottles like spray on the girl and like
Yeah.
it was cool, and it was
Oh,
bloody
it
too.
was yeah, it was
Yeah,
imaginative. It was really fun too, man.
yeah,
It's legit. Yeah, it's legit
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, so and then of course we get to the point where she then becomes the display where she gets bitten by the vampire and
Mhm.
she turns into one, but before that it backs off. It cuts to, the guy, the girl and the guy, they're looking around, and of course they see her and they don't notice her, as
Yeah.
like as the victim. So and the guy didn't even notice the guy as the werewolf. So it's like it was a very like um feeling of like lostness.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things. It's like it's crazy. It's like you see your dead friends, but you don't know it's them. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? That's kind of the fucked up mentality
Well, that's the
that was
horror
going
of
on.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
and
helplessness of it all.
yeah. So they leave, and the jock boyfriend comes in. He gets turned into a wax display. He
Mhm.
just pushes him in, and it's part of like a Jack the Ripper story or something.
Yeah.
So you don't see the story play out. You just see him, his dead body, laying. And then we go into the guy. He's going to get a detective involved to search, and the detective goes to the place, and he goes into another scene with the
Yeah.
mummy. And so
Mhm.
we get to see a mummy scene with him, and he's trying to like take down the mummy, but he can't do it. He and this girl get buried in this coffin,
Yeah.
and that's how the scene ends. So and then we move on to the main character and the girl,
Mhm.
and they go back to the waxwork, and I think no, they go and they talk to the
The
guy.
the guy, the old the isn't it like the grandfather or something of the other
Yeah,
guy?
the
Yeah.
grandfather, and they find out that the guy who runs the waxwork is responsible for the death of the guy from the beginning, because
Mhm.
they were finding like these artifacts that
Yeah.
are magical, and like he's like a magical person, and he ends up killing the guy so he can steal all the stuff. That's why in the beginning you see them breaking the glasses and stealing all the stuff so they can set up the waxwork displays.
Yeah.
So that was cool. That was a cool little like twist in a way, I guess.
Mhm.
And so we find out the story, and then they go back to the waxwork museum, and they are about to burn it all down, because if they don't burn it down and all the creatures get released into the world, it's going to be
Yeah.
havoc and chaos. So they're trying to burn it down, and they end up going into their own waxwork displays themselves.
Right.
The guy goes into a Night of the Living
Out
Dead,
of
George
Living Dead.
Romero zombies,
It was in
and it
black and
was
white too. I love that.
yeah, yeah, and then like he ends up figuring out that it's not real because he ends up going into the entrance of
Mhm.
the display. So like he finds out there's this field, this force field that is blocking him from going back. So when he finds that out, he finds out that all of it it's not real.
Yeah.
It's just imagination. So he ends up telling the zombies like, "You're not real. You're not real." And then all the zombies stop walking
Yeah.
towards him because they're all confused. They're like, "Wait, we're not real." And then he ends up escaping, and then he goes into the girls' display where she's getting whipped
Yeah.
by this guy, this sick
Antonio Banderas looking motherfucker.
yeah, Antonio Banderas. She's almost I think she's about to die, right? And
Yeah.
the guy comes in and he saves her, and he like proves to her that all of it's not real. So he tells the guy to hit him, and the guy tries to hit him, and like it goes through him, and so it
Yeah.
goes through him multiple times, and the guy's like, "What the fuck?" and then
Yeah.
and then she realizes it's not real because of that. So she wakes up from the nightmare, and then the him and her get pulled out, and then they get captured, and
Yeah.
then they can't do anything because two of their other friends that were supposed to go that night, they come back, and then they get put in their own display, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, all the wax characters come out into reality. So they go from standing still to moving into the real world, and it's a trippy scene, but like it's a fun one too because you see
Yeah.
all these other displays that we didn't really get to see come to life. So
Yeah.
we get to see all the creatures and stuff, which is cool.
Tell me you
And
didn't get Cabin
yeah,
in the Woods vibes when that
yeah,
happened.
yeah,
That reminded me so much of Cabin in the Woods where they just let all the monsters out, and then
yeah,
it's just like. And by the way, I really love, this is the '80s. If you're shooting a scene where everything around you is on fire, guess what? We're gonna light the fucking set on fire, and you're gonna act right in the middle of all that fire. Like
yeah,
there was a tangible danger. Like I felt legitimately afraid for everybody on scene, even though it was like mostly like a lighthearted type of like fun kind of thing. That added element of like, oh, these people could actually get hurt. Like really,
yeah.
really made it a lot more intense.
Yeah, because like the grandfather and his army comes in and saves the two characters, and they start
Yeah.
fighting all the monsters, and the two characters join in, and they start fighting the monsters, and then they got to a point where they had to burn everything down, and then the
Mhm.
guy was telling them, "No, get out of here, you gotta go," and then they ended up going towards this pond of wax, and there's this like it's like a I think it's a back room or
Yeah.
something. And
Mhm.
then the guy who was whipping the girl comes out and he starts fighting the main character
Yeah.
with the swords, and it was a cool scene. And then he ends up killing him, and then the guy shoots the head guy, and the
Mhm.
guy falls into the wax, and then before he dies he comes out and says, "I want to quit, take a closer look," and then he falls back into the wax,
Yeah.
and then the guy gets ripped by the werewolf. The guy in the wheelchair gets ripped by the
Yeah.
werewolf, and then and all of a sudden everything sets on fire. It's a chain reaction, like gas is all lighting up, and then they both escape, and then we see this cool like miniature set where the wax museum is in flames, it blows up, and it's all there, and then they both escape, and then you see the hand come out and it starts crawling towards them, and then it
Yeah.
cuts.
Yeah.
So what a fucking awesome movie, man.
Yeah, legitimately great fucking movie in my opinion.
Yeah, so when it comes to the movie and like what it presents itself, it's like more of a lighthearted comedy, but at times it's more has the horror element to it, but it's still lighthearted.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other thoughts you want to put out about the movie?
Yeah, I really wanna give it to John Hillcox as a director here
Yeah,
because I really feel like the script in and of itself is fine. It's a fine script. There's nothing really about the writing that's all that special. But I really enjoyed John Hillcox's sort of heightened like the way his characters talk, the way there's this weird sort of like Disney Channel original movie vibe to it, because it is a
Mhm.
surprisingly chaste movie. Like it's sexy without ever getting to the sex,
Yeah.
um like
Oh yeah,
like
and I love his name is the actor's name is Galligan or something.
uh-huh.
He plays the main character, and at first when you get introduced to him, he's like, saying like he's like talking to his mother, and like they're both like leaning
Yeah,
like
looking over from the
away from. It was funny, and then he was like, "I need my caffeine,"
yeah.
and he has like that New York accent to him, like at that point. But then I think he goes into his regular accent. So yeah, you got those scenes that are funny when they're at the football field and they're
Mhm.
talking with their friends. It was heightened, like you said, and of course, like the whole when you get to the wax museum scenes, like that was awesome as well,
Yeah.
with the heightened characters, with the horror elements, and great effects too. Just
Yeah, yeah.
awesome effects.
And another thing too, the cinematography is legit. Like there are a
Yeah.
couple of shots like that. There's this one shot in particular. Um, I think it's about like 30 minutes in. I don't even know how they did it. It's just like this textured light, but like it was yellow with red. Dude, honestly, I was like, that's when that movie really got my attention. I was like, okay, all right, so this is like a pretty fun movie. But then like that shot happens, like, oh no, this is like a vision. Like the people behind this were actually trying to fucking do something here.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, like honestly, like my favorite thing about this movie, the most surprising thing to be honest with this movie was that like it wasn't just like a fun movie. Like it is just like a fun B movie, but it's like a fun B movie made by people who cared, who wanted to have fun, who wanted
Mhm.
to tell a fun story and make it entertaining little movie, dude. And I think everything about this movie is designed to be amusing, to be creepy, to be sexy. All these things that are just constantly like it's what every like on a very basic level what a good movie should do. It should constantly give you something to react to and feel. And this movie does a really good job of giving you everything you would want in a chill little fucking B horror movie,
Yeah.
without overstating anything. And yeah, dude, like honestly, this is a good study in what good direction can do to a pretty basic script.
Yeah, and also like the set design too, like is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
especially the transition from the wax work, the wax display scenes to the
Mhm.
reality,
Yeah,
is awesome. Like I said, the werewolf scene when it ends, like you think you're still in the scene, but like when it pans, you realize that it's all a display, and then you pan and you see the character walk by, and it was a cool transition from the scene, and I
definitely.
thought that was
Yeah.
awesome. So I want to get to Screen Rat's comment. He
Mhm.
says he enjoyed Waxwork a lot, like us. He
Yeah.
also says, "I love the mixer of genres in this one. I expected a slasher, just like what Eduardo was also expecting,
Mhm.
but I've always been a fan of a horror movie tackling more than one genre in the movie. It's really cool."
Yeah.
So I agree.
Yeah, and also, dude, like I really got like because it is like such a different mix of genres that he's exploring within like horror and all that. I really got a lot of Cabin in the Woods vibes, and like Cabin in the Woods feels like the cynical postmodern version of Waxwork. You know,
Yeah.
that's the vibe. That's the vibe I got, dude. I'm a big fan of Cabin in the Woods, so that was like
Yeah.
a big plus for me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It did have that vibe, yeah, to it. Especially when it comes to the people who run the place. Like they have a goal in mind.
Right. By
They're
the way,
trying.
I love what they did with that. Yeah, you have like your creepy old guy who's the head, but you got your little dude and you got your big fucking guy, and they're like
Yeah,
best friends. I love that. No, dude. And then like what I really like too is the guy they got to hire the actor who's playing like the little person. Um they picked a he looks like a baby. Like I don't know how else to say it. He looks like a little 2-year old or something.
yeah,
But and it's funny like because he has that little voice. He's this little dude, but he's got this big character with these big gestures and all that, man. It was
yeah,
everything about this movie was just so fucking fun. Just straight up
yeah,
fucking fun.
yeah, man. It's awesome. Yeah, it's just when it comes to uh the vibe of the movie too, like the way it's played out. There's just a lot of good things about this movie. And by the way, nobody talks about this movie. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I've never heard of this one.
yeah, and I looked if you look up Waxwork werewolf scene, there's only two videos that pop up.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. There's no usually when you look up like scenes like say from Halloween, there's multiple videos that pop up
Right.
that is the same like scene
The
that
clip,
they're
right.
clip. So when you search up like clips from Waxwork, you don't see anything. You don't see any
Right.
clips because nobody knows what this movie is.
Well, it was was it straight to video? It looks like it was either straight to video or it had like a really small release, you know?
Let me see.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you do the research. Um yeah, while he's doing the research, I'll go ahead
It
and plug. Oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
it was released in theaters.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it had a
Okay.
3.5 million budget
Uh-huh.
and it made 800,000 and 140. That's okay.
That's not good.
That's not good.
Yeah, it didn't even make half its money back. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, I mean that's probably why, unfortunately. This is what, like 1988?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like towards the end of the 80s there was a lot of horror burnout, which is why the 90s was so like light. Not a lot of horror going on in the 90s for a long time. But yeah, dude, that is a bummer. That is a bummer for sure. Because like I understand, this movie didn't make a lot of money and all that, but some legitimate effort and real talent went into this movie. And they should at least give it some respect by, I don't know, keeping it on TV. I watched this on a Saturday afternoon. This is the perfect Saturday afternoon movie. Honestly, it's like it's got like vibes and shit like that, but it's mostly just like an entertaining, engaging movie. It just keeps the fun train going.
Yeah. And also Waxwork 2 was released direct to video, so that says it all. Okay.
Yeah.
But I got, speaking of Waxwork 2, we'll I'm definitely gonna we're definitely gonna talk about this after Eduardo's pick
Hmm.
for coming this Saturday. But I gotta say, Waxwork 2 was fucking awesome too.
Yeah.
It was fun. Like it continued the elements of Waxwork, but it expanded on it. You know what I'm saying?
So like I don't know. Would you say this movie has a cult following at this point, or is
Uh,
it still like really unknown?
I think people might have an idea what it is. Maybe they heard it, but I
Yeah.
don't think there is that much of a following to it.
That's a bummer, dude. Like fucking
Yeah.
Arrow or like Vinegar Syndrome should put this out on 4K or something. Like,
Yeah.
because I really feel this movie deserves that. Like, I legitimately think this movie deserves, um, yeah, not only to be viewed more, but to be a little more appreciated, man. Because again, like a lot of work went into this fucking movie, like real effort, and so it's a bummer. It's a bummer that it's not. Hey, whatever. It's not as big as other movies. That's one thing, but for it to just kind of like seemingly disappear like that, it's a little disappointing, if you ask me.
Yeah, that sucks. Scream Mad. Definitely don't hear people talk about this movie. I found out about this one on Tubi going through the horror section. That's exactly what I found it through.
Yeah.
And Eduardo found it through. I already knew about this movie, but yeah, it's on Tubi, and yeah, I'm surprised nobody's talking about it. It's on Tubi, so if you're a horror fan, if there are horror YouTubers out there that are true horror fans, and you're on Tubi looking at horror movies, how come you didn't stumble upon this? I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, man, it's an awesome movie with an awesome cast, an awesome story,
Hmm.
a good mix of genres, within it. Um, it has monster elements, it has slasher elements, it has um just mystery elements to it.
It's a
Just
fun ass
everything.
fucking movie, dude. It's just that
Yeah,
that's the only way I can describe it. It's a fun ass fucking movie.
yeah,
If you like watching movies that are fun, watch this one. I don't
yeah,
even know how to say it. Like I can't imagine, like, for me, this is like such a home run. Like I can't imagine how much of a miserable bastard you'd have to be to not like this movie.
yeah.
It's so likable. It's so like, yeah, dude. This is a high recommend for me, undoubtedly.
Yeah, apparently, they were talking about doing a Waxwork remake or a reboot, some sort, and I would love to see what they do with that. Especially like if they go off the original movie, but also put their own spin on it, because obviously we don't want to see the same movie twice.
Yeah,
Even though we love Waxwork, we love to see something a little,
a little more
uh,
original.
yeah, yeah, a little more original that doesn't um copy off the first one. But yeah, this movie definitely needs the love and shine it deserves. And I mean, here's the thing, man. There are movies that go under the radar. That's what happens. That's the story of the movie, man. It's
Lake
just
Mungo is another great example of that.
yeah, yeah. And I don't see people talking about um this one movie you seen. What was it? Uh, Joyride. Joyride.
I never see. I used to see it on my pay per view or Showtime and all that back in the day, but I never sat down to watch it.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, nobody talks about that. Uh, Nobody talks about a film. It was really cool. I forgot what it was called, but it was about this guy who was he becomes like a cop, right? It's called Psycho Cop. Sorry, Psycho
okay.
Cop.
Yeah,
And it's about this guy. He's a cop, and like he just turns crazy, and starts
pretty
killing.
straightforward.
Yeah, yeah. It 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 didn't get the love and the appreciation it deserved because it came around the same time as Maniac Cop. So everyone knows Maniac Cop more than they do Psycho Cop because there's
Yeah,
two sequels, or there's Psycho Cop and Psycho Cop 2,
right.
and that's it. And nobody really talks about those movies because those movies are fun as well.
Yeah, that's important.
So yeah, but yeah, that's I don't know any. That's all I gotta say for it.
Yeah, that's all I
You know
got to
what?
say for Waxwork too.
Yeah,
Little
me too.
short episode.
So yeah, man. I know we have 46 minutes left in the stream. I want to go for at least an hour. If
Okay,
that's okay with you.
sure.
Okay. So yeah, that's our Waxwork review. And let's talk about something still horror related
Okay,
because this was a horror movie. Let's talk about a little bit about Halloween Ends. All right.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Oh no, it hasn't come out yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's gonna be coming out later in October, and I want to hear your thoughts on it because I know.
To be honest, I haven't seen the newer movies. Uh,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
But yeah,
yeah, we're gonna have to like
catch up on
do
that. I'm
catch
down. I'm
up on
down to
that.
watch it when it comes out, man. I'll just have to catch up on it for sure.
Yeah, it's good. No, it's good to catch up because they're consistent because it's the first one was it takes place on Halloween night, and then the Halloween Kills takes place on the same night, and then Halloween Ends takes place 5 years after, and it's the same story, you know. So that's that's how the trilogy is going. It's a trilogy, so it's like doing that. Oh, he's frozen. Yeah, wait till he respawns. Just get out.
Oh, there it is.
Okay,
Okay.
you're back.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. So since you haven't seen the other movies, I'm not. We won't talk about it because I would recommend you see the movies first, because it's really important. And
Yeah.
but did you want to talk about um, your upcoming film? Do you have any advice to filmmakers? To
Uh,
anything?
Honestly, dude, I was actually thinking about that a lot today at work, man. A lot of work because so I am in pre-production on something, and I'm trying to find. I have a DP who's dabbling with CGI, so it's gonna be my first time experiencing that, and I'm pretty excited for that. You know, that's gonna open a lot of doors creatively. But it's getting hard, bro. I'm 34 years old at this point. Like, out of everyone that I know, I'm like one of like two people that don't have a family and shit like that. And it's just hard, man. It's just hard to find people to help you on your projects. I remember, like 10 years ago, back when all my friends and I were all fucking single and young and shit like that. Yeah, dude, like I just remember like back in the day, I always had people to help me make movies. I could always like hit up a couple of my friends, someone to hold the boom mic, someone to do this, two, three people ready to go, dude. Um, but as you get older, as people's lives get busier and shit like that, doing stuff like trying to get even like a short movie together that'll take like a day or two to film, like it gets difficult, dude. It gets difficult, man. So I mean, there's one advice that I really all I could think about today, man, was like, fuck, dude. Like if I could go back, knowing how hard it is now to make a movie when you're in your mid 30s, I would have made so much more shit in my 20s, dude. Like, holy fuck. Now that I'm really seeing the other side of it, man, like, yeah, dude, I guess if there's any advice I can give out, considering my experiences today is if you want to make movies, do them. Start young and give it your all while you're young, because at some point, whether you're a successful filmmaker or not, you're gonna be 34 years old, and things are gonna be a lot harder to do like that, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, dude, I don't mean to be like a bummer or bring shit down, but yeah, man, like, yeah, that was on my mind a lot today, man. How about you, man? You got any projects going on?
Yeah, so I'm ready to shoot, or I'm not ready, but I am planning to shoot this feature film. It's about a guy who wants to be a cop. So like I mentioned Psycho Cop. It's inspiration for Psycho Cop.
Hmm.
But instead of the guy being a cop, he's a wannabe cop. He's not actually in the department or anything like that. He just dresses up as a cop and goes out at night and finds like bad guys to kill, pretty much. So like throughout the movie, he's like dealing with real life shit, but at night, like his hobby is to go out, become a cop, and kill people.
Uh-huh.
So that's the movie. That's pretty much what it is. I'm only shooting on my phone. I only have a microphone attached to it, and that's it. So I'm just starting, where I need to start, for it. That's pretty much all you need is, especially as a beginner, someone who's just
Yeah.
starting out, that's all that matters. Just make the best you can, and then, once you make more films, the more equipment you get, you'll get, and stuff like that. So
I think the most important thing to go into your first movie kind of realizing, which you know I think it's hard for other people to take this to heart, because when you're making a movie, you really give it your all and shit. But I think it's important to remember that like the very first thing you ever make is going to be the worst thing you ever make.
yeah,
you know like that it's okay if like you come out with something and it doesn't come out the way you did. I know a lot of people who got that far, made their first movie, didn't get the response they wanted, and they stopped making movies because that first experience was so negative and stuff like that. Yeah, dude, like if you want to make a movie, go fucking make a movie. Just fucking go do it. You know, like with whatever you have available to you, with whatever is accessible and shit like that. I think when it comes to film, there's doers and there's talkers, and I've kind of crossed the line a little bit in my life from being someone who like I only talked about movies I was making to like now and shit, you know. But yeah, dude, honestly, man, I'm dealing with some fucking financial shit with like debt. But as soon as I get over that, man, like I really need to fucking like it feels so weird, man. Once you start making movies, I feel like this is like a bit of a warning. Once you start making movies, like it's hard to stop, you know? And there's always gonna be a part of you when you're not making movies that's always gonna think about making movies. Like always gonna think about making movies, you know?
yeah,
So that's me, dude. Like, yeah, I like my job. I like what I do for a living and shit like that. But at work, all I could think about is like the movie I'm in pre-production on, this other movie I'm writing, and like how to make it like shit, just film shit, like production shit,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, dude, like it's it's something to if you're gonna be a filmmaker, fucking aim for the goddamn stars and get as far as you can. Because if it's something that you really love doing, it's gonna suck when you're not able to. Because like film isn't like painting or photography or playing an instrument where you could just pick something up, snap some pictures, play some chords or whatever. It takes a lot. If you have that ready, that is like the best fucking resource you have, more than any camera, microphone, or anything, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a good advice because, when it comes to what you call it, filmmaking, just you're gonna be dealing with shit, and
Yeah,
you're gonna be, especially when making a film, it's gonna be, especially if you're gonna make your first feature, like it's gonna be stressful, it's gonna be, tough, but like at the end of the day, you'll get through it as long as you put your mind to it, and once you get through it, man, you're like you said, you're gonna keep making more because you're on that train,
you're
man.
on
You're
that
on that
roll,
field.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
back when I had back before I got all my film equipment stolen, I was averaging one short film a year, but they were short films that like I spent a lot of time writing on and shit, like all that, man. And it's so weird, dude, because like I think the most frustrating is for me is I know that I'm good, like I know that I know my movies, they have their flaws, but they're an upward trajectory. I've never made a movie that was worse than my last one. You know what I mean? And I still feel like I'm on that fucking trip, dude. I still feel like whatever I do next is gonna be so much better than everything I've done before. It's just I don't have a fucking bunch of homies that I fucking hang out with 2 3 times a week to hit up no more. Like, yeah, it sucks, dude. It sucks. Like, I there's a part of me that feels like I've realized I've realized everything in my life except this film shit, and it's like I said, dude, it's just always gonna be a part of you. Uh, Once you start doing it, man, and it sucks for me because it really does feel like that's where that's where all my talents as a person are able to come together when I'm directing something, Uh, so yeah, dude. So yeah, man. Honestly, dude, like, goddamn, I envy people who are younger, primarily, because you're not gonna understand it till you're older, dude. But like, time is the most precious fucking thing, dude. And once it's gone, you don't get it back, dog. So
yeah,
seriously, dude, like, if you got that fucking film, fucking whatever, ready to go, dude, because it's gonna get harder every year. It gets harder every year. Once you hit like 24, 25, it's gonna get harder and harder every year to make it.
yeah,
It's a fucking miracle I made one 4 years ago, dude. Like, it's a miracle I made. Um, it's a miracle that I made fucking Unaired Pilot. I mean, don't get me wrong. Every movie that ever gets made is a miracle. Period. You know, because of all the work and all the bullshit that goes into making movies. The fact that any movie gets finished at all is a fucking miracle. You know,
mhm,
but like, my God, you know what though, dude? At least I got to do it. You know,
yeah,
at least I got to make all those movies, and that's a lot more than a lot of people can say as far as their filmmaking aspirations go. So it's hard to be too bitter, I guess.
yeah, man. I agree, man. I try to like save up a little money, just go and shoot. Right now, just like I said, like shoot my feature. I only have like $800 in the budget. Um, so
That's a
when you
challenge,
see,
man. That's a challenge, dude. But hey,
yeah,
people do it. People do it, dude, for sure.
yeah, because I have this. Oh, I don't have a deal yet, but like I'm planning to get a deal with a distributor and hope and get like residual and royalties from the film when it makes money, and then I can put that money invested back into my next film,
Yeah,
which is great because you don't have to reach out to an investor or reach out to or go do an Indiegogo campaign, which
yeah,
trust me, like I've seen people do it, and it takes a lot of work
yeah.
just to do a
Get the money.
campaign on
Yeah,
Indiegogo. So just yeah, as long as you have at least like $8,000 in your budget, I think you're good.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're not. I don't think you're gonna lose money
Well, I mean, I
doing that.
budgeted out the feature I'm planning on making. I budgeted out for equipment costs only being $3,000. So, I mean, and that's just me trying to be fancy, dude. You know, like just trying to. I'm shooting it. I'm shooting my next Mr. Monkey Man is the name of my feature. I'm shooting that on the cell phone for sure. But like, uh, but I'm trying to make I'm trying to make the best looking movie ever shot on the fucking cell phone though. You know, so
Mhm.
I'm spending hella money on lights and shit like that. But if you don't even have to spend that much really, if you just want to make stuff, you know.
Ooh, Mr. Monkey Man. Yeah. I remember you telling me that, bro.
Yeah, man, I can't fucking wait for that, dude. That's gonna be fucking. Well, I gotta get this other movie done first, but that
Yeah.
one comes next, man. Yeah, no, the movie I'm working on right now is called The Silent Film, and it's about this guy who who is chased by all these like hooded figures, you know, and he lives in the middle of the forest, in this little like encampment, which is just made of like a bunch of junk, you know, like just junk thrown together to make shelter. And he lives there with this like demon who is able to make their home like invisible to the outside world so nobody can harm them, you know. The thing is that the demon is a fucking abusive you know. I tried to make like the cheapest movie. It's a 7-page script, you know, and I try to make the cheapest thing without compromising on my vision. And even then, like with this little short story that has like three locations, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's also a lot of CGI shit that I've never done before, so that's like another level of of complications, you
Yeah.
know. But we're still in the process of doing number test and figuring stuff out. So that's it, man. But the thing is, man, that like this one with my last movie with Unaired Pilot, I love that movie so much. That's like my favorite movie. I a lot of people say Escaping a Spinning Room is my best movie, and I get why they say that. It's like the most well produced production value movie I made. But like Unaired Pilot, that's like a little punk rock fucking movie, dude. Like, you know,
Hmm.
watching that, like, I don't want to get too fucking navel gazy and shit, but when I premiered that in a room of like 200 people, like watching everybody like react the way I wanted them to, and that and when the movie was over and I felt the whole room like take a breath, like collectively, fucking a man, that was the best fucking feeling ever. So when I sent it to film festivals and like it got no film festival response whatsoever, none, you know? And so that broke my heart a little bit, man. That was really discouraging because I thought that was an easy fucking festival sell. You know, it was a
Yeah.
30-minute short, but you know, like I'm the kind of person, you know, like I want to know what went wrong, you know. So I messaged a lot of these film festivals that rejected my movie, being like, hey, you know, like I'm not mad that you rejected my film, like you know, I'm just trying to be a better filmmaker. So what exactly can I do to better my odds on the next one, you know? And the one thing that kept coming back was like, well, the audio. And it's so like, it's so unfair, dude. It's so unfair how, like, if you're not like a Christopher Nolan or if you're not like a Quentin Tarantino or a Hollywood director, like, nobody thinks of like your bad audio as an artistic choice. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Yeah, yes, the audio is bad in the movie because it's like it's a piece of evidence in a court trial. You know, like I don't know if you've ever seen like a police interrogation or anything like that, but it's shot like shit and it sounds like shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like and yeah, dude, like to me, I don't know, man. Like it doesn't sound like shit, you know? It's just like a little what's the word I'm looking for here? It clips. I purposefully clipped it in post specifically to give it that real raw like real raw, real down to earth fucking feel, imperfect as fuck, you know? And what sucks is that like I, the people who've seen it, man, people who've seen it, and giving it a fucking shot, like they dig that. I've never gotten a bad fucking response on that movie for anybody who can get over the audio thing, you know, like I don't know, man. I really hope this next one is I'm really this short film I'm working on right now is so much like my fucking I'm just doing this for the festival thing, dude. You know, like I wrote like a film that's about depression. It has like a pro mental health message. It's gonna be like 10 minutes long when it's all put together. Dude, if this doesn't get me into a film festival, I don't know what I'm not gonna know what to do with myself, man, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because I know, yeah, your short films are on YouTube.
Yeah,
So um I'm surprised that like yours, like, yeah, you got good views on it, but like I know I see a lot of short films on YouTube that get thousands of views and millions, and
yeah.
I just don't understand like how some other short films don't get that type of attention. I don't know why. I
Well, I
think
mean,
it's
let's be real. YouTube is not the best. Is not the best avenue for short films. It's not really a platform for short films. For something like that, you want Vimeo. Vimeo is the best platform for short films. The problem is the only people that use Vimeo are other filmmakers.
yeah,
Nobody goes to Vimeo to like learn how to fix their fucking car light engine or whatever, you know, or the car engine light. Like, dude, like, yeah, that's one of the more frustrating things about being a sort of low level filmmaker is that like your best fucking bet to get the most eyes on it is not at all designed to help you
yeah.
at all, you know?
Mhm. So yeah, yeah, that's cool, man. Hopefully, yeah, your film takes off and you get it
Hopefully
made.
it is. Hopefully, yeah.
And then for me, I'm just doing the best I can. Hopefully, because it's just me, as the crew. So
Yeah.
the rest of the cast is just the cast. So
Hey,
yeah,
good luck with that, man. That shit's hard, you know? I
yeah,
was able to do that on unaired pilot, but that's because it's like it's a found footage movie, and I could do that. You know, I had the microphone in the shot because it's a found footage based on a public access show and shit like that. You know, you know, you can write shit in for yourself, bro. Like you could do it fucking yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to make that work for sure. But yeah, man, I wish you luck on your fucking movies for sure, dude. Like, you know, like I anybody who's able to find success in this shit, like fucking good luck, like good on you, man, 100%. You know?
absolutely, man. So yeah, we hit the hour mark. We talked about lots of things, but mainly
Yeah,
Waxwork, which is we loved, and we gave our thoughts on it and our review on it, and we talked a little bit about our filmmaking careers and how it's going.
yeah.
So yeah, we got pretty caught up on everything, and yeah, I think we're good on that. Did you want to announce the next film that you want
Yeah,
to talk
yeah.
about?
I'm gonna go ahead and plug something real quick if you don't mind. Yeah, go ahead and head on over to my channel, Pop Counterculture Media. Has all my short films, a couple of my video essays, but the main thing that I'm doing these days is Dom has actually been on a few episodes. Is These People Hate Cinema, which is like a series of live streams that are takedowns of toxic, channels like the Quartering, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, that Star Wars Girl, Geeks and Gamers, all these shitty channels that endlessly shit on everything for fucking no reason. Yeah. So that's mainly what I'm doing there these days, but I'm planning on doing a couple of more ambitious projects down the road. But yeah, other than that, yeah, next week the movie I'm picking next week is on Shutter. It's directed by Phil Tippett, the dinosaur, the dinosaur, whatever Wrangler in Jurassic Park, and it's called Mad God. It's a stop motion horror film playing on Shutter. That's gonna be next on this Saturday.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to see it because I don't see a lot of stop motion movies nowadays.
Especially not a stop motion horror.
Yeah, and because I'm a huge fan of Ray Harryhausen back in the day.
Mm-hmm,
He did a lot of films like Jason and Argonauts and Sinbad movies, and
mm-hmm.
he was he was he was what they call the he was like, so when how like Star Wars came and then they had all these special effects and these little, so and then CGI came around and stuff like that.
Replace all those, yeah.
Replace all of those. So Ray was the original like special effects slash CGI type of person. but
Yeah.
he just did it with stop motion. So stop motion was the original CGI, I
Yeah.
guess you could say.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to see this because I love stop motion in movies and stuff. So I like to see what they do with Matt God. Hopefully, or
Yeah,
check it
yeah,
out.
hopefully he kicks ass, man, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of this episode, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and enjoying Screen Rat. Thank you for stopping by, and for everyone else, thank you for watching. And if you guys want to see more of our content besides our podcast, check us out at Pop Counterculture Media and check us out on Dominic St. Clair Studios. We do, of course, short films. We do our little podcasts and just videos talking about films and horror
Yep.
and all that stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on Saturday.
See you guys
Bye
Saturday. Thank you
bye.
very much. Peace out.